So I'm currently turning 21, and if I were to go back in time and to tell my younger self 9 pieces of advice, these are what I would tell him. But obviously, since I can't go back in time, why not just tell you guys? Now, as someone who after every school would just go home and watch Minecraft videos and just play in bed and literally not study at all, I started to make small decisions in my high school that started to compound, and that sort of led me to become a straight A student in high school, as well as becoming active in my college, as well as running this YouTube channel, and not to mention my income. So here are 9 pieces of advice that I wish I knew when I was in my teenage years. Tip number 1, if you're not making $1 million right now, then you're failing. Alright, I'm just kidding. Tip number 1 is to take your time. Now, as much as I would love to pressure my old self to tell him to just start hustling and grinding so that I would be a millionaire right now, people tend to forget that unhappiness is the enemy of success. Like, what's the point of doing anything if you're not going to be happy doing it? Like, if I had to choose between being successful and being happy, I'd rather much be happy. If you want to be both successful and happy, take your freaking time. Pressure yourself in a healthy way. That's no problem. Being pressured is good. It makes you do things. Although there's nothing wrong with that, don't do it at the expense of your happiness. The reason why some people can do things for a long time consistently is just simply because they love doing it. They enjoy the process. Enjoying the process is such a huge part of what makes people so successful and consistent. Why tell yourself to ignore all the fun when you could enjoy the hustle? You can enjoy the grind. I hope we're thinking of the same grind here. You don't have to make your road to success an unhappy one. Be smart. Play the game. Enjoy the game. That sounds so freaking wrong. Advice number 2 that I would give my younger self is that your small decisions will impact your life greatly. Yes, your small itsy bitsy decisions, not those big impactful productive days. Your small everyday decisions is what will make or break your day or your life. Okay, maybe that sounded a little dramatic, but if you guys read the book Atomic Habits, there's this principle in the book where it says that improving every day by just 1%, like 1% being better every day, and just doing that over a year consistently for 365 days will make you 37 times better than you were originally. 37 times! Not twice, not thrice. 37, and that's just 1%. And vice versa, if you just stay the same for the remaining time of your year, you're just gonna stay the same. You're not going to improve at all. You're just gonna be stuck there. So start making small decisions that would make your life better, that will improve you as a person. You can do that by waking up a tad bit earlier every day. You can start building a routine. You can start practicing your hobbies. You can start eating just a tad bit more healthy. Add a bit of, veggies there, here and there. Just like me, because I really hate veggies. And over time, these habits will start laying a very, very strong foundation to your life. And this foundation will serve a good platform for you to venture into other things. So just start making better decisions every day, little by little, which moves me to my next point, which is to start exploring. Now, trust me when I say that there's way too many things that I never thought I would start liking. Fun fact, I've never really been into photography or videography. I've never been interested in that until literally when I started borrowing my family's DSLR. And fast forward to now, that camera not only made my YouTube channel, but literally my whole side career. It also made me realize my love for cinematography, and it all began just from borrowing my family's camera. Everything you see in this room, or most of it rather, I was able to purchase them with my camera. Like literally that camera bought these things. So my advice for you is to just literally start exploring the world. Explore new hobbies, learn them, get good with them, find out what sticks, find out what doesn't stick. Because you'll never really know what you will like and what will be helping you in the long run. I know lots of friends who end up pursuing things that I never thought they would end up pursuing. I have someone who just recently started learning the guitar and now he writes songs and now that's his side career. I know someone who just recently picked up the camera and now they're doing photography gigs, and that's just amazing. And when you try new things, don't worry if they work out. Sounds weirdly like my ex. Tip number 4 is to build your habits and routines. One of the most important things you can do when having a successful life is to have a very structured life. Have a very strong foundation. And what better way to have a strong foundation than to have a strong routine for your day? Even if it's just a few minutes to half an hour in the morning, set yourself some time to set the day right. Whether that be cleaning your room, arranging your bed, cooking yourself a, simple meal. It's all these small routines that will help a long way because routines provide structure to our day. It's very easy to be consistent if you start your day every day with a set routine. So I want you to go and just write like a sample morning routine on a piece of paper or type it on a computer, and it doesn't even have to be complicated. You could literally just write, I'm gonna fix my bed and clean my room. That's it. You're not gonna shower, you dirty ass. I'm just kidding. Just simply fixing your bed is already more than enough. Just having that set checklist in the morning will help you really push your day forward. The next piece of advice I would give you is to use this time to start taking action with your physical health. Go to the gym, go outside, go morning runs, start doing small workouts, jumping jacks. I can't stress how beneficial working out is, especially keeping an active body throughout the day, and I don't think anyone is surprised to how beneficial it is. I don't think you're even surprised of this advice that I'm giving you. I started working out during the pandemic, and throughout the time I noticed how better my body felt, and I noticed how much better my body looked and how I felt during it rather than just sitting at home all day. And I noticed my mood would just be so much better, and not to mention my physique was getting better. If you guys have trouble starting with working out, I recommend downloading a workout app, or more specifically a workout tracker app. Now, if you guys are wondering what I use, I personally use an app called Heavy. I've been using it for like a few years now, and it hasn't failed me one bit. Not sponsored or anything. I would, you can sponsor me next time, Heavy. Or if you have trouble making a routine, I recommend you just search on YouTube workout routine and you just follow whatever they have, and if it's too hard for you, just look for an easier one. Just go on your own pace. What's important is you start overloading throughout time and you start increasing the load. But like I said, you don't have to be an athlete on day one, okay? Don't worry about finding the perfect routine. Just make sure to be consistent and become more active and work your way up from there. The next tip I have for you is to build your circle. Now, you know when you meet someone and you just instantly feel that connection, like this weird vibe that somehow you just get this person, like this genuine vibe a person gives off. Now, I can't stress how important it is to find people that will be sort of the backbone of your life. And as much as I consider myself an introvert, I have to admit, I rely on my friends. Now, definitely, it's very easy to make acquaintances everywhere, but having that really close bond with someone is just something very hard to find. If you're already close with someone, then I want you to cherish those friendships. And bonus points if those friends are the types of friends who build you up as a person. And what more if they challenge you and make you just strive even more? Now, of course, you don't even need friends who challenge you. Sometimes you just need that gang of yours who will be by your side, no matter how rough the weather gets. Now, introvert or not, I recommend you start building your circle as early as possible, and I want you to start building connections with them. Or if you haven't found anyone close, then you don't have to rush it. Don't worry, there will always be time where you could meet other people that will just match your vibe. You don't have to rush it. But I seriously can't stress how important having a good foundation of friends through life, because quite literally, they might be what will push you through life itself. The next tip I have is to don't be afraid of letting go of things. Okay, not to sound emo or anything, but let's take a plant for example. Some plants grow to their extent without issue, but some plants end up having their leaves or branches dead. And in order for them to grow healthy, what do gardeners do? They cut them. Why? Well, quite simply, they're just holding the plant back from growing to a healthy, mature one. Now, I know this might come off as a contrast to my last tip, but this actually goes hand in hand with my last tip, which is not to be afraid to let go of things. Sometimes there are things or people that will hold you back, and if you feel like it's holding you back from becoming who you are, and if you feel like there's enough reason, then don't be afraid to let them go. If you feel like you're compromising too much of yourself, if you feel like you aren't growing as a person, if you feel like your values are being attacked, then ask yourself if it's really right for you to hold on a certain thing. And I'm not talking about just people, but also habits and hobbies. For example, are you playing too much video games to the point where you're compromising your health? Is a person you've been friends with suddenly becoming someone you don't want to be around with? Sometimes in order to grow, you have to let go of things. Okay, but disclaimer, please don't just cut off everyone or everything just because suddenly it's an inconvenience to you. Something being inconvenient to you is different from something holding you back. For example, even if video games are somewhat addicting and maybe takes a lot of your time, don't just cut it out if you find it a good way to de-stress. Think first before you let go. Next tip is to work smart and not hard. During college, you will start to realize that you might have to start sacrificing certain subjects for others. Yes, that happens. One thing you'll really learn once you get older is time management, because you will start to realize that you won't have time for everything. So as much as possible when you're young, I recommend you try and start working smarter rather than working harder. Work in a more efficient manner. Instead of pushing through a certain task or study with brute force, wasting a lot of precious time, try learning more effective ways to deal with that task. Instead of doing chores the whole day, why not just do them all in the morning. Instead of studying for 5 hours, retaining barely anything, try using study effective methods, which will cut your study time by half. Don't brute force your way through life. That's not a good way to go through it. Be smart about it. Play the game. The next tip is an unusual one and it might come naturally to you guys, but build your aesthetic. If someone made a mood board that described you, how would it look like? If it looks like this, then maybe something's wrong with you. I'm just kidding. Everyone should have their own brand. No, I'm not talking about your business brand or your YouTube brand or your online brand. I'm talking about your personal brand. Start wearing a specific palette of colors. Start buying things that are somewhat close to your vibe. And it doesn't even have to be conventionally aesthetic. If your vibe is being chaotic, then just embrace it. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as it's your identity, then I'm all for it. For example, this is what I imagine my mood board would look like if someone would make a mood board about me. And as you can see, you can kind of see the color palette I'm going for and the kind of clothes as well. Mostly Uniqlo because I'm Asian, but anyway. The next tip I have is to build a second brain. I feel like this is probably the most important tip among all the tips. Like, they're all important, but this one is quite literally what changed my life, which is to have a second brain. Now, you may be asking, what the hell is a second brain? Well, let's just say a second brain is a place for you to store and organize all of your, extra things that happen to your life. Whether that be certain projects, school, random tidbits, your hobbies. It's kind of like having a digital bank of information where you could just store and forget. You can start using journals, or you can even use applications like Notion. You could even download templates like university trackers with built-in revision trackers so that you don't even have to worry about when you want to revise your subjects. You could even set up a Notion page for your passion projects and such. And I feel like having a digital database for everything is such a useful tool, and I really encourage everyone to give this a try. I have templates for Notion in the description if you guys want to check them out, so yeah. Finally, the last tip I have for you: have fun. There's no point in doing all the tips that I've said if you're not going to have fun, if you're not going to enjoy it. What's the point of going through life if you're going to just hustle and tussle without enjoying the process? Because I feel like that's where the real happiness comes from. Life's too short to be sad, so try and make the most of every moment we have on this human earth. And if you want to win in life, just enjoy the process, because if you do, who can stop you? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck on your adulting. And if you're someone who's not of the age watching this video, then I'll be making another video about that. Anyway, don't forget to drink your water, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye!